Hey guys, Rick and Duke. Welcome to another episode of War HOGG Words of Wisdom. So for those of you kind of first tuning in, you're probably going, who's this Duke character? So Duke was my retired military working dog. I lost him to osteosarcoma July 5th, 2021. We kind of started the show. We're going to end the show. So this is just a way I can keep his memory alive. In turn, we've started the In Honor of Duke project via Scott's Wish, a all-volunteer nonprofit organization where pretty much our mission statement's this: number one, keep Duco's memory alive. Number two, never let another SOF canine handler make a medical decision based on finances for their partner. Number three, helping out other canine organizations where it makes sense. So if you guys are interested in donating, learn more about the In Honor of Duco project, you guys can go to warhog.com, In Honor of Duco, or scottswish.org, again, / In Honor of Duco. So just want to thank you, the viewers, listeners out there, for giving me your most precious commodity, your time, to tune in, listen to what I got to say. It's greatly appreciated, guys. Do me a huge favor, if you would, please hit that like button, subscribe button, rating, review. I don't care if it's just a thumbs up emoji. Leave us something to help get this algorithm going. Oh, by the way, share this with your friends and family. Let them know. Let's get the whole On the Range podcast umbrella shows, War HOGG Words of Wisdom, Vantage Point out there so that people can better enjoy it. And then last but not least, if you guys want to support the show, you guys can go to patreon.com / On the Range podcast. Guys got training tips on there. We do a Zoom call twice a month with me and Mark, actually, chat with the patrons, see what's going on. Coupon codes, training tips, insight stuff just for our patrons. So again, patreon.com / On the Range podcast. And don't forget, last but not least, in my house cleaning, sign up for our newsletters, warhog.com, kellydefense.com. And again, just keep you abreast as what's going on and things we have laid on for the future. So in this episode of Words of Wisdom, a big question I always get asked is, how do I fly with my firearm? Well, first and foremost, you can't have it on your person when you're going through the TSA check-in, unless you're certain law enforcement officials. We won't get into that one. But hey, I need to check my firearm, excuse me, because I want to have it when getting to my final destination. So for me, I'm always traveling with them, right? I go teach classes, whatever the case may be. I don't care whether it's pistols, rifles. We'll talk some nuances, some different states that I've found, helps things out. But it's really not a difficult process as long as you understand. Now, what I'm going to do, and again, this will be something for the patrons that I'm going to give them. I really can't kind of show you guys everything, and I'll talk the pieces. But again, the patrons will see an actual video, me kind of laying out how we're doing the whole check-in process and everything I'm doing when I'm checking in my firearm. And again, for this episode, I just dubbed it Flying with the Firearm. But understand, this isn't about flying on the aircraft with the firearm. It's about you checking in your firearm. So first and foremost, I don't, just because a suitcase does not work out for me. I use a Pelican case because that has all my range stuff in there. But you can basically put your firearm in your suitcase and check it that way. Here's the key thing. When it's going into your suitcase, it has to be in a TSA approved locked container. So again, the patrons will be able to see this via the video, but I recommend Pelican. I think they make a great product. But again, you can use a small Pelican box if you're going to fly with your handgun or something like that. Put it in there. Make sure it locks. Don't be using the TSA locks. Use actual regular key locks. Because again, part of the deal is you maintain control of your keys, or at least you're supposed to. And we'll get into some more details on that. So I'll just kind of give you my scenario. You can make it fit a suitcase if you're going to do it that way. But for me, when I'm rolling to the airport, right, I've got my gun box packed because, again, I use a large Pelican case, get all my guns in there. It doesn't matter, pistols, rifles. First and foremost, you got to make sure they're cleared back home, right? So make sure your firearms are cleared out. And then if you are going to transport ammunition, I know for at least American, they say you can take up to 11 pounds of ammunition, but it has to be in the factory boxes. So what I've done is I've found the most conducive, smallest box that's a factory box that I can put my ammo in. So again, it's all about weight and space when I'm traveling for me. So again, my firearms are unloaded, my ammo's in the box, whatever other range stuff I have. Now, I don't lock my box at this current junction. Why? Because Rick knows he's going to have to declare his firearms to the ticket counter when I get there. And then in turn, I'm going to have to unlock the box anyway, right? So it's just something I've learned over time. Why lock it to unlock it to relock it? So we just, keep the locks fairly close. And again, that always kind of throws them off. But again, when I get up there, sometimes they'll try to get you check in at the kiosk. And I'm like, yeah, but I got to check this in with you. Okay, whatever. But again, when I get up there, first thing I do, give my ID card, tell them I have firearms to declare. Of course, they're going to ask, are they unloaded? You say, yep. And then one thing you'll kind of see if you're watching this, about the only thing you're going to see, this little unloaded firearms card. You've got to sit there, declare it, sign it. Basically, it says, hey, I'm saying that my firearms are unloaded. And it's funny because I'll kind of read you this whole thing, what it says. I understand that federal regulations prohibit loaded firearms in both checked baggage and carry-on baggage for my flights. I don't know why they have carry-on. I guess for your certain, we won't get into that one. Anyway, I understand we're even at a Florida start, right? I therefore declare that the firearm or arms contained in my checked baggage are not loaded and will be locked in a hard side container, that I will retain, the key/combo to the hard side container at all times. That's a critical part, right? So what American Airlines has me sign, I will maintain the key at all times. We'll talk about TSA here in a minute. I further declare that all ammunition is separate from the firearms, secured in an ammunition box or container as required, and there's no loose ammunition in my baggage. So that's the quick rundown of what they have you do. So you declare it, you sign it, you slap it in there, and then at that point, I lock my box up. Now, at least for American, what they're going to do is they're going to put a special tag on my bag, which then in turn plays into whenever I'm getting to my final destination, because I keep an eye out at the baggage carousel if I can, because technically what's supposed to happen is a person is supposed to physically carry that thing to the baggage claims office. You show them your ID, then you collect your firearms for there. I've had that tag ripped off, and I've actually seen my gun box going around a carousel, and I'm like, oof. So again, it's just a little security measure, but somebody could easily grab your box and off they go. And, if you're not paying attention, so I just pay attention on that backside. So what you're going to have to do is, once you sign, put the card in there, lock it, they tag it with that special tag, then you're going to have to take it over to TSA. Now, I will say this. The only airport that I know of that I've flown out of, and that is Las Vegas, Nevada, they physically, so the ticket counter agent want to physically see that my firearms were cleared. I'm going to tell you this, kind of raised some spidey sense. I'm like, dude, here I am. I'm going to get shot in the Las Vegas airport because here I'm flashing firearms. I'm trying to do it all the way down low, and can you lift it up higher? I can't see. So I have had that happen. And again, you're trying to deal with the ticket agent as best as you can. Can they be a pain sometimes? They can be, because again, they don't even understand their own rules. So I had one time, again, Pelican case, it had a spot for 4 locks. You're like, where's your 4 locks? Well, I only need 2 according to TSA. So this is where the airlines and TSA don't really get in line, as per that little document I read you before. Maintain control of your keys, right? Okay. So documents in there, it's locked. Has the tag that says, hey, you got to pick it up baggage claim. Now you take it over to TSA. This is where things get interesting, because again, TSA doesn't even know their own rules, and they don't they don't do things all the same. So what winds up happening is sometimes they need to look inside your box. Well, in order to look inside your box, they need the key. Some airports have it where you can stand right there and watch what they're doing, no problem. San Diego, California, I'll throw them under the bus. They had a look at my box one time, and I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to maintain control of the key. And of course, we went back and forth. So now I had to basically give up my keys so they could look in my box. And again, I had no idea, were my firearms there? Were they not? They take something out until I got to my final destination. So it's one of those where the rules say you got to maintain. But again, it doesn't happen that way. Some airports, you can stand there and physically watch them go through your stuff. So it's just one of those. On the inspection TSA side, there's no rhyme or reason or what's going on with that. Just ensure, you got your stuff packed up the best you can. Hopefully it for whatever reason, it's not so much the handguns as it is my rifles. I don't know why. That kind of throw the red flag where they can't say they're X-ray machine C. I mean, I'm declaring firearms. I don't know what you're in there digging for, but I just think it's a power play in Rick's opinion. So again, that's just kind of dealing with TSA. Now, the other thing you got to be aware of is you got to understand the state you're flying to, their laws, their regulations, all that other stuff. So again, you don't want to get yourself caught into a pinch where, God forbid, you're flying to, LaGuardia up in New York, and my God, you've got not your proper documentation, and you don't have I guess it's New York compliant firearms, or you want yourself get into a pinch that way. So just make sure you're doing your backside research, where you're flying into. So again, will you have any dramas, not dramas? I don't know. I know. I haven't seen a whole bunch of, if you want to say, local law enforcement around at the TSA kind of checkpoint. They're up kind of floating around, but wouldn't surprise me in New York they'd be out there lurking, find a gun, because that's a big bust for them. So you just don't want to get busted on that piece when you don't need it. So just be aware of the laws you're going to. And then obviously once you get to your final destination, show the ticket counter agent your ID card. They can pair it off your tag, and you grab your gun box and off you go. So it's not a hard process. I can speak for American. I can track my bags on the app, so I can see that, hey, I landed, at airport X. Yep, it got unloaded this flight. It's going on to this one. So I at least can kind of track my bags that way. So it gives me a little bit warm, fuzzy where they're at. I can't speak for other airlines, what they're doing. But again, it's just nice to know, hey, my guns are on the same aircraft as me, and here we go. And I think they try to put some priority to there with that tag that they put on there, knowing that, hey, there's firearms in there, and at least hopefully expediting it getting to your final destination. And then once you kind of get there, go through that process, get your bag, go about your business, and enjoy the Second Amendment right we have in most states. Some were restricted, but that's it. So it's really not difficult, guys. It's just, you go in there, declare it off the bat, sign your stuff, and it makes life easy. So it's something that definitely can be done. If you want to do it, by all means, like I said, you can put it in the suitcase. But that's kind of the way to go on that end. So not a difficult thing. Fly with your firearms checked. Obviously not in your baggage, but so there you have it. So again, these stem from questions that you guys kind of have. I've had, a couple people, hey man, how do I fly with firearms? And again, as I said, for my patrons, you're going to get a more in-depth video portion of it. So you guys can kind of see my box, see all that other stuff. We'll talk about the suitcase, kind of smaller Pelican case. You guys will see or visually be able to see all that stuff. Hopefully make it a little clearer versus me talking. So kind of in closing, guys, do us a favor, rating, review, all that other good stuff, just to help this podcast beat the algorithm. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter, warhog.com, kellydefense.com. And if you are going to go travel around the country, make sure you're within the laws, travel with your firearm. That way you can still make sure you've got it, train with it, whatever it is you want to do. Stay within the confines of whatever state laws you're going to, and enjoy it. So thank you guys so much for giving me your time, for tuning in. Greatly appreciated. In closing, I just want to say, God bless you. God bless your families. God bless our troops. And God bless the United States of America. Rick and Duco, you.